want to quickly introduce Angela and then turn it over to you, Angela. So a few things. Angela was recognized in February as a top influencer on LinkedIn in the Greater Bay Area, which boasts over 2,000 LinkedIn consultants. She is also part of the Global Chamber on 3 boards and speaks regularly on global panels about marketing and sales. She started her own business, and as the hashtag LinkedIn Badass, she serves attorneys and CPAs in 4 areas: business development, professional branding, visibility, and optimization on LinkedIn. Without a website, she built her entire vibrant business using free LinkedIn. And Angela is also currently an active provisor. She is also a former Bacon board member, and in that capacity understood almost immediately the importance of pivoting to Zoom. And as a result of her leadership, Bacon was able to be relevant and helpful early in the pandemic. I don't think we even missed one meeting. And frankly, who knows whether we would even be here today were it not for Angela's business acumen and guidance. And oh, by the way, she's a former high school rodeo champion and lives in Marin, where the hiking and weather are fabulous. So Angela, welcome. We are thrilled to have you.
Thank you, everybody. It's so great to see some familiar faces and to see some new people as well. And ironically, that very first meeting that we did after the pandemic hit, where we all panicked and were like, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to exist during this, was another LinkedIn consultant. Do you guys remember that? It was Ted. And I knew he would be the perfect person to transition us to being on Zoom, because he does presentations on Zoom as well as he does on a great big stage. So I'm so happy to be back at Bacon, and I'm going to dive right into the PowerPoint presentation. I have some really interesting things to share with you this morning. So is everybody seeing my PowerPoint presentation? So I'm going to be talking about the 20 years of connecting professionals and the power of LinkedIn now for B2B. So right now, we're someplace between 950 million and 1 billion people on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn versus all the other social apps. So of the legacy social apps, which would be Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, WeChat could go in there, Pinterest, and some people include Snapchat, but certainly Twitter. So LinkedIn is kind of in the middle as far as how many members are using it and how effective it is for B2B and B2C type things. Now, TikTok has snuck in there of late and has passed by LinkedIn by a long shot. Twitter, we don't know where it's going. But just wanted to let you guys see where it is as far as size goes for social media apps. So this is the new breakdown for, oh, so sorry. This is the new breakdown for the age categories in LinkedIn. So pre-pandemic, try to absorb this. Pre-pandemic, 30 to 40% of the activity in the newsfeed was 55 and over. Since the pandemic, that has dropped to less than 10%. A lot of people have opted out of having corporate positions and have left. Now, the other interesting thing about that is that the baby boomers and the over 55 crowd were the ones that really policed the etiquette inside of LinkedIn. So now if you look at this category right here, this is the 25 to 34-year-olds. They are 60% of the activity and the membership on LinkedIn. And the 35 to 54 crowd is only about 25%. So the age demographics on LinkedIn has changed dramatically since the beginning of the pandemic. So less than 25% of the membership for LinkedIn is in the US. So it is truly a global app, and it's global business that is happening on LinkedIn. So less than 1% of the people on LinkedIn actually share content 5 days a week. So for those of you who would like to think of yourselves as creators and content sharers, this is a huge opportunity. Less than 1% are sharing into the newsfeed. So the average number of connections for somebody on LinkedIn is about 1,000. So I'm curious, where do you sit? Are you above average or below average in your connections? 39% of the people that are using LinkedIn are actually premium users. And there are 4 different levels of premium. So how many people are joining LinkedIn every single minute? They're saying now it's about 4 people, but 3 is the really standard statistic for that. So just think about that. The growth on LinkedIn is amazing. 3 people per minute are new to LinkedIn. 56% of the membership are men. And just to show you the sign of the times right here, here is a cartoon that I found from Marketunist. And it really speaks to the whole idea of ChatGPT and other AI things. So do you need a growth hacker? No. Do you need a brand guru? Ninja, rock star? These things are terms that no one wants to hear on LinkedIn anymore. So the recruiter says, I'm looking for real qualifications, not just your buzzwords from your LinkedIn profile. And then he says, AI prompt engineer. And she says, when can you start? That is one of the fastest growing positions right now. And I like to be able to have a little bit of a sense of humor about what's going on in the world. It may be intimidating, but it's here and it's not going away. So I want to ask you a couple of questions before we go into our first breakout. Why are you on LinkedIn? And when I do networking events, a lot of times the answer that I have to this is, or the answer that I hear to this is, well, Angela, you have to be on LinkedIn. And my answer to that question, or to that statement, is you don't. And my assumption is that you've never made the conscious choice to be on LinkedIn. And I really do believe that the way you show up on LinkedIn has a great deal to do with your attitude and your purpose for being on LinkedIn. So I'm going to invite all of you to think about, why are you on LinkedIn? And then show up responsibly, intentionally, and with purpose. So LinkedIn is a mindset. And a lot of people have a very interesting love-hate relationship with LinkedIn. I'm going to invite you to be a little bit more friendly with LinkedIn, really find out what your purpose is for you, and just let go of all the things that people tell you you need to do on LinkedIn, and really figure it out for yourself. What is your sweet spot? What works for you? And really let go of all the rest of it. So LinkedIn is not about you. I want to kind of shatter this illusion. A lot of people will say, oh, LinkedIn is just an online resume. In the B2B space, that couldn't be less true. LinkedIn is not about you. It is about what you can do for others. It really should be client-focused, super clear, and very simple what you can do for your entry-level ideal client. So what is business development? What does that look like on LinkedIn? And I'm going to say that it really starts with strong personal and professional branding. Now, personal branding is something that a lot of people really stumble over, but a lot of us are solopreneurs. It is us. People do business with us because they like us and trust us. So your personal branding is one of the most important things that you can include in your LinkedIn profile. Now, optimization is another thing that's very misunderstood on LinkedIn, but you want to come up in the right searches for the right opportunities. LinkedIn was originally designed as a searchable database. You want to come up in searches for the keywords that people, for the goods and services that you have to offer. So optimization is really important. I come up in about 500 searches a week, and that definitely leads to business in many cases. The other thing you want to do is establish your credibility and stay top of mind. And you do not have to share content to stay top of mind on LinkedIn. There are several other strategies that do not involve content. But of course, now with ChatGPT and a lot of other resources, it's much easier to create content and then personalize it to you specifically. So, what is the golden formula for LinkedIn? It's your visibility in the newsfeed, the value that you offer that entry-level client or your referral partners, the consistency that people see you on LinkedIn, that equals influence. And influence is where everything happens. These days in marketing, there's been a lot of research about how people move through that client journey. And what we've discovered is it takes a lot more touches. People are saying anywhere from 12 to 22 touches before someone will actually pick up the phone and get a hold of you because they're curious about how they could do business with you. So 12 to 22 touches, and most of them need to be on the digital platform, whether it's LinkedIn, your website, landing pages, newsletters, email, whatever it is that you're using to stay top of mind. So really think about that. Are you visible? Are you providing value to your entry-level ideal client and your referral partners? And are you being consistent about the way you show up? So we're going to look at this for about 5 seconds. And I want you to think about what is it that's memorable about this above the fold view. So just take a couple seconds, look at that. And that was 5 seconds. So what do you remember from that? And I'm going to come back and take a look at all of you guys. And please feel free to drop things into the chat or unmute yourself and just shout out. What are some things that you remember from that above the fold view?
Firm focus.
What was that?
Firm focus.
The name of her business. Great. That's fantastic.
Legal consulting.
Which is a super important thing to remember. Is what she does. Anybody else remember anything? Her hashtag, Stacy. Yeah, very good. And those are in much smaller print. She is in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Her picture.
Yeah,
Her picture or the banner?
Yeah.
A
her
little bit.
picture. My mind goes to images before text, and I couldn't quite figure out the logo, but the image and her smile gave me a sense of who she is. So that was as big as the nice block text.
And that's such a great point. You know, here's what LinkedIn found out when they did a heat map study of how we respond to LinkedIn profiles. We spend 5 seconds on that above the fold view. 2 to 3 seconds of that is looking at someone's face. That is your first place where you can actually create an emotional connection and credibility to your ideal audience. So great point, Craig. You want your photo to be friendly and approachable, but also professional according to whatever your industry is. Now, if you're in marketing, you can get away with a lot more color and creativity, but you're in the legal field, you want to have the navy blue or dark suit. You don't need to wear a tie anymore. We've relaxed our standards a lot, but you want to be dressed appropriate to your industry. So I'm going to dive back into the PowerPoint. And we're going to take a little bit closer look at Sarah's profile. So, Craig, just for you, the FF in her logo is the firm focus. So she is using her logo both in the banner and for her company page. So really great brand recognition. And then she spells it out in really big letters in the banner. So she tells you what she does: legal productivity consulting. So it's really simple. By looking at her photo and her banner, you can tell whether she's who you're looking for or not very quickly. Within about 3 seconds, you can decide whether, she's interesting, I might want to look further, or she's not. So she helps attorneys focus and get the right stuff done. Productivity strategist and consultant, international and keynote speaker, and she's the CEO of Firm Focus and creator of ART, which is an email productivity system. So this is her headline. This is how much room you get to express what it is that you do and the best practices for your headline space. And listen carefully, because this is going to be something we're going to talk about in the breakout session, is how you can craft your headline so that it's much more clear what you do and who you serve. So best practices for that headline space are: who do you serve? Sarah serves attorneys. What do you do? She is the productivity strategist and consultant. And what are some of the results that people can enjoy if they work with you? And it's really hard to get in everything. So Sarah focuses on what she does and who she serves. And then she spends the rest of her headline establishing her credibility and telling you exactly what it is that she does. She does zero inbox, and she's created her own system for that, which is really efficient. Now, she is also using a clickable link. So if you can see way down at the bottom of the screen, it says, need more time in your day, and who doesn't need more time in your day to do the things that we love, or to work on your business, or building your business, or working in your business. If you click on that, that takes you directly to her calendar, and you can set up a half an hour to talk with her about what it is that she does. So you don't have to read anything else on her profile to get in touch with her and to really start talking serious about doing business with her, or just doing some informational inquiries so that you can keep her in mind for the future. So, time for a breakout session. 2 people for 5 minutes. And what I want you to do is really work on each other's headlines. Now, there are a couple ways that you can do that. You can look at your headline on LinkedIn, and you can read it to the other person, or you can cut and paste it into the chat in your breakout room and share it with that other person. But the whole focus of this breakout session is to get some feedback from another professional on how you can improve your own headline. Any questions before we go into the breakouts? And LinkedIn, a lot of, I'm sure that you have noticed that LinkedIn has become a pitch fest. People don't even wait until they connect with you. They start pitching you in the invitation. And so I really just want to remind everybody, so many people have misconceptions about what LinkedIn is all about. And I'm going to tell you, it is not a direct conversion tool. Oh boy, I I get creeped out every time somebody says the word lead generation and LinkedIn, because really the best use of LinkedIn is to drive traffic someplace else. None of us are on LinkedIn to be sold to. We kind of have our I will not be sold to face on LinkedIn, but we are looking for solutions. We are looking for information. We're trying to find out what's out there that can solve some of our biggest problems and the problems that our clients have as well. So one of the best uses of LinkedIn is to just establish your credibility and to educate the people who are following you, your direct connections, to establish goodwill and awareness of who you are and what you do. I think the very best use of LinkedIn is relationship building. and nurturing the relationships that you have going. And of course, driving traffic. 52% of all social media traffic driven to websites comes from LinkedIn in the B2B space. Now, if you're super ambitious and you'd like to be a thought leader, LinkedIn is definitely one of the places that you have to show up to be able to consider yourself a thought leader. And of course, visibility. Content is still king. And if you are posting even 2 or 3 times a week, you're going to be so much more visible than your competitors who aren't. So there's only one game on LinkedIn right now. And that is to be very clear, very simple, and very confident about who you are and who you serve. You know, if you think that you can serve everybody, it's extremely confusing to everyone on LinkedIn. You want to be super clear and very simple and confident about who it is that you serve and what problem you solve. So I rarely get excited about new features on LinkedIn, but in the past couple of years, there have been some great additions to LinkedIn that really help in the B2B space. So I want to give you guys a really quick introduction to all the new bells and whistles that LinkedIn has added in the last couple of years, and then how to apply them to business development. So I hope that within these 6 different features that I'm going to show you, that you find something that's really going to unlock a piece of business development for you. So one of the things, the new and notable features, and I put new in parentheses like that because some of these features are as old as 2.5 or 3 years old, but a lot of people are not aware of how to use them or that they're even there, because LinkedIn never announces to people that they've added these features. So you really have to talk to somebody who knows what's going on to be aware of what's happening on LinkedIn. For example, since the beginning of this year, oh dear. Oh, I'm so sorry. I think I have the wrong PowerPoint up, and I'm going to have to remedy that situation very quickly. Since the beginning of this year, there have been over 100 new features added to LinkedIn. 100. How can you keep on top of that? It's pretty overwhelming. So here we go. And you might recognize this very first one here. Here is Diane Ployce's above the fold view. And one of the things that she is using is called My Story. Now, My Story is a 30-second video that you can put underneath your profile photo. Now, a lot of these new features are things that have been added on your mobile app only, and this is one of them. So it's really just a one-take shot on your phone. You want to make sure that you have a nice neutral background, and you can tell people things that you would like to point out on your LinkedIn profile. So what are the best uses of My Story? Why should you use it? Video is the fastest path to know, like, and trust. And this is a fantastic opportunity to create that emotional connection to your audience when they drop into your profile. You can use it to welcome people to your profile. And it's an opportunity to direct visitors to a specific place. You know, check out my bulleted list in my about section, or, you know, in the featured section, I have this tool that can help you with something or another. Like my mortgage lending clients, they add a mortgage calculator. And the other thing it does is it adds density to your profile. If your profile is merely words, it's super light fare. The algorithms and the crawlers really don't care about just words, but they get super excited about video and media and URLs. So if you add density to your profile, it's going to come up in a search much more quickly than somebody who doesn't have density added to their profile. So number 2 is name pronunciation. How many of you have a name that might be a little bit challenging to pronounce? This is also something that you can add from your mobile. And it's just a couple of seconds where you actually get to pronounce your name correctly. Now, why is this important? If you're a public speaker and you're being introduced all the time, people shouldn't be awkward and scared to pronounce your name. So it's a wonderful service for people to look at your profile and find out how to pronounce your name correctly. If you network a lot, there's that awkward moment where you're trying to introduce someone and you don't know how to pronounce their name. It's, for us introverts, that's awkward anyway, but if you don't know how to pronounce their name, it's even more challenging. So if you have a name that's challenging to pronounce, that is one way. And let people know, I pronounce my own name on my LinkedIn profile, so that they don't have to ask you continually and be embarrassed about that. I think it's a wonderful new feature. So the bell is so fun. If there's somebody who is producing content that you cannot miss, it's such great content. For example, they're an influencer in your field. Go ahead and hit this bell and you will never miss any of their content. You will actually get a notification every time they publish something new. So why use that? Because content is still king. I like to follow marketing influencers because that really inspires me to create content of my own. And you want to be able to stay on top of who are the influencers in your field? What are they saying? What's going on? How can you sound super smart when you're talking with your clients? And here is creator mode, which I think it gives you so many different advantages, but one of them is it makes you more findable on LinkedIn. Now, we all want to be found for the right things. We all want to drive business a little bit more using LinkedIn. Creator mode allows you to create 5 hashtags that are quintessential to your business. Now, there are 3 places on your LinkedIn profile that are weighted very heavily for keywords. Number 1 is your headline. And Patricia uses her headline really well. It's super simple. She's an estate planning attorney. And then she establishes her credibility. But below that, it says estate planning, trusts and estates, estate planning lawyer, estate planning attorney, in case somebody else uses the alternative word. And then this is her branding, estate planning with heart. So she uses creator mode really well. So why would you want to use that? It is a super important piece of the optimization and being found. It also tells the flavor of what you do. If you're a consultant, well, gosh, what kind of a consultant are you? If you're a coach, what kind of coach are you? You really want to make it explicitly clear what it is that you do. And if you turn on creator mode, you also get to use a clickable link, which can drive traffic to some place that people are much more likely to make a purchasing decision. So here's Sarah and her profile. She has it at the bottom of her profile, and for her, it goes directly to her calendar. Other uses of that clickable link are to drive people to a landing page where it gives them more information about a specific service that you have. If you've published an article in Forbes or in Inc. or Entrepreneur, any other place, or in a journal for your specific industry, you can drive them to that and establish your credibility. If you have a blog page on your website where there's tons of great information, that's another good use. Get them off of LinkedIn and someplace that they're more likely to make a purchasing decision. So why use it? To drive traffic. I use it to book appointments. 2 or 3 people each week use my calendar link, and that definitely drives business for me. So here's the examples again. A calendar link, a website, or a landing page are really good places to send people. So next up is the featured section. Featured section's been around for quite some time, but most people don't really know how to use it. So what are the best practices for it? Optimization for sure, because you are adding things there that have density, video, podcasts that you are a guest on, some sort of an article. There's all kinds of uses for the featured section, but what it really should be is a great resource for your ideal prospects. And it should also be establishing credibility and thought leadership for you. So, are you guys ready for a breakout session? It'll give you a chance to talk about some of the things that you've learned so far. And in this breakout session, it'll be for 2 people again, for just 5 minutes. And what I'm really curious about is what action steps are you going to take because you saw this presentation today? What did I present that might be super useful for you, and get some feedback from your partner in the breakout room on what would be the best use of some of these new features? Everybody, and I hope that you guys came up with some really great ideas on what you're going to do to improve your presence on LinkedIn. And I'm going to finish up really quickly so that I can open it up for questions. So here we go back into the share. And so here's a quick recap. So my story is the video that's behind your profile photo on LinkedIn. Name pronunciation it's the ability to pronounce your own name so that people don't murder it when they introduce you. Those are both available on the mobile app. You have to access those from your phone, but they will show up anywhere, PC, tablet, you name it. The bell is for people who you want to follow their content and not miss a word that they produce. Creator mode gives you several different advantages, and they continue to add things to creator mode. So I would get this. This is even with free LinkedIn. Go ahead and take advantage of that before they start charging for some of these things, because they're moving more to a paid model for many things. So the clickable link is a part of creator mode. So is LinkedIn Live and a lot of other things. So go ahead and use creator mode. Even if you're a little squeamish about it, I would grab this feature before they make it something that's paid for. And then also the featured section. Fantastic place to provide resources for your ideal clients. So really think about, a lot of people watch something that's really great and they say they're going to do things about it, but do you really do something about it? So I'm going to challenge you, maybe not over this long weekend, but next week, is to actually enact the things that you think might be really valuable for you. So I want everybody to grab their phones. I'm going to show you a little trick. So take out your phone and go to the LinkedIn app and open up the LinkedIn app. And at the very top, you're going to see a search bar. It has that little magnifying glass in it. Put your finger into the search bar and open that up. Now, over on the right-hand side, you're going to see a small square that kind of looks like a grid. Touch that. And that is going to take you into a place where you can show your LinkedIn QR code. Now, if you're standing at Link to Local Marin or another networking event, you can use that code to connect with people very quickly. Now, what is the beauty of this? You don't have to spell their name correctly. If there are 100 Barbara Smiths on LinkedIn, you don't have to worry that you're connecting to the wrong one. It will absolutely take you directly to their profile and you're connected. So it's a super easy way for you to either offer your QR code or to scan someone else's QR code and know that you're connected directly. Now, here's the secret to this. What you want to do is you want to send them a welcome message and say, hey, thank you so much for connecting. It was great meeting you at such and such event, so that 3 years from now, you have context for how you know that person. Doesn't it drive you crazy when you're like, oh my God, we've been connected for 3 years. I don't know who this person is. So give it some context so that you can always remember how you met that person, and then, the lights go on. So I want to thank you for attending today, and for participating in the breakout sessions and learning a little bit more about the demographics and the new bells and whistles on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. Wow. Thank you, Angela. That was a lot of information. That was terrific. I gotta go back and change my picture.
A lot of.
And at least this is
detail.
recorded so that you can take advantage of this recording anytime you want. And you can stop it. You can go ahead and change things on your LinkedIn profile. It can be a tutorial. And it looks like Tony has a question.
Yeah, thank you, Angela. Can you comment on this new creator mode? Like when I tried to connect with people, like I met some people last night at an event, and you can't connect. There's no connect button when they're in creator mode. It's like they push out, but they don't receive. It bugs me.
Well, LinkedIn does not understand themselves at all, Tony. They think that it's so much easier to follow someone than to actually directly connect with them. So they offer that follow button. Now, they've just corrected that. A couple weeks ago, they started rolling out, if you know this person, connect. So right below where that is, there now is a connect button. Now, if you don't have that feature rolled out, you use the ellipses. There's 3 dots in a little bubble over on the right-hand side of that. If you click those dots, you can drop down to a menu that says connect. And I just tell people when I'm doing a speaking event, if you want to connect with me directly and you don't see the connect button, use the ellipses and directly connect with me there.
Great to know. Real quick, what's the little green circle in the pictures of the people you had on?
It means you have LinkedIn open on your computer right now.
Gotcha.
And you turn that setting off if you don't want people to know that you're working.
I'm looking at the Bacon YouTube channel and I'm not seeing the slides. So where do I find them there?
Well, let us edit them first.
Okay.
They'll be up soon. And, everybody, this is a 3-day weekend. So give the volunteers of Bacon a little bit of time and leeway before that gets posted onto the YouTube channel. I mean, I know, Pam, you're probably dying to do this update stuff over the long weekend, right?
Angela, I had the same question as Ulrika posted, actually. Is following somebody the same thing as that bell?
It is. But the difference between the two, following means that you're going to see their content in the news feed. Clicking the bell means you're going to get a notification every time they publish something new. So if you don't like notifications, don't ring the bell, and use it sparingly for the people that you really can't miss their content.
Thank you.
Angela, Marissa has her hand up.
Marissa, how can I help you?
Hi, Angela. Thank you so much. Really appreciate all the information you shared. I had a question. When you shared the example of Firm Focus with Sarah and the information that's right below her name, you mentioned that you first want to type in like who you serve. My question is, oftentimes what I can tell that when you comment on other people's posts and you're trying to create engagement that way, that follows you. So right when you comment, you see what you've put right underneath your profile. So is it a good idea to put like Sarah did, helping attorneys focus, so that pops up, or should we share a little bit more of what we do there? I'm trying to figure out how that works.
If you serve a general audience, then you want to focus on what you do.
Okay.
or the problem that you solve. Me, I
Gotcha.
serve a very specific audience. And, and that's, I want to get their attention first. You know, attorneys do not participate in the newsfeed that much, and they're very focused on things. So I want to grab their attention by saying, hey, attorneys, CPAs.
Okay, great. So it depends on the niche and the industry. And again, you
It
know,
depends on your
thinking of them
business model.
first. Right, right. Okay, thank you.
Is there time for one more quick question? Or you need to go?
Bridget?
I saw your statistics on the age groups. Where did all the 55 and older go? Okay, they're retiring and things like that. But if that would be my audience or my preferred clients, do I need to switch to AARP or?
And that is a fantastic question. Here's the good news. The people in that 55 and over category that are on LinkedIn are pretty active.
Okay.
So, you know, if you look through my network and my newsfeed, it is an awful lot of people that are at least 45 and over.
Yeah.
So it really depends on individual networks. That's just talking about, you know, broader strokes of LinkedIn. So don't freak out quite yet.
Thank you.
Angela, that was terrific. Absolutely terrific. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And I hope this was